and welcome to this next edition of ACE's 2023 webinar series. I'm Phil Greswold, founder and chairman of ACE Thermal Transfer Ribbons, and I'm pleased to say I've got here Vladimir, one of our key account managers.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. A big hello to all our old friends out there and our loyal customers. Thanks very much. I know times are quite difficult in certain areas, and it's great to have your loyalty. Thank you, and a big hello to our new friends that we've been dealing with over the last several months and working on your projects. It's a pleasure to be working with you. Particular hello to our friends in Bangladesh. I was in Bangladesh last week with my colleague, and your hospitality is amazing as always, and it was just a pleasure to be in Dhaka, in and around Dhaka. Okay, we're coming to you today from ACE's Testing and Development Center in Saigon, and I'm also joined here by Maria, our testing supervisor. There's Maria, and some of you will be familiar with her, and there's Julia, who runs ACE's Professor Julia it's not a webinar, it's a technical series on ACE's YouTube channel, and I recommend that all of you take a look at that. It's very informative, so thank you, Julia. Okay, so today we're doing a webinar titled Common TTR Printing Issues and Solutions, and I guess it's a kind of top 10 issues that we hear about here at the development center. So normal Pareto theory is that 80% of your problems are probably 20% of the things that we hear about, and these are the top 10. So hopefully we're covering most of the things you might be interested in. Okay, we're aiming this really at supply chain and purchasing personnel or supervisory personnel, management personnel that need to interact with the thermal department and really probably will benefit from more knowledge of that. So hopefully we're helping you. It's not an in-detail operator webinar here. Frankly, that's beyond our skill level. I want to make the point that at ACE, we only sell thermal transfer ribbon. We're not involved in selling printers or other add-ons. So we don't have any skin in the game. And basically, we're able to help you, and you're able to send us emails, talk to us about help with your printing. It makes no difference, and we can help advise you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to hand you over to Vladimir, who's going to maybe give an outline of where we're going in this webinar.
Thank you, Phil. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have all experienced print problems when using TTR, and today we would like to go through the most important and common issues and simple steps in order to solve them to get the best results. So our webinar would have 4 main topic areas, and we are going to cover them, and that you need to consider all these areas in order to get the best results out of your TTR printers. So we'll start with issues related to your production environments. Then we would explain your TTR printer machine maintenance and all the problems related to that, and also how to properly operate your TTR machine and the understanding of your TTR products. As we're going through, please feel free to write down any questions in the chat box, as we're going to have a Q&A session in our webinar. Let's get started. So the first group of issues, as I mentioned just now, would be the production environment related issues. And of course, the printing, any kind of printer, right, so especially TTR, would need a clean production environment. And TTR is used in many industries, and generally the cleaner the production environment is, the better print results and the higher lifespan of expensive print heads you're going to get. You can see on the pictures here 2 very different examples from 2 very different industries, but on both of them, the production environment is very clean. So we hope you also keep your production environment clean. You choose the cleanest area available for production, for TTR production, and you manage to keep it clean.
Yeah, I'd just probably add there, Vladimir, that we have a large printing client in Vietnam who was originally doing TTR printing in more of a manufacturing area. And then they were noticing that they were spending quite a lot of money on printheads, as a lot of you do. They then built a simple but very clean filtered air area. They got about maybe 16 to 20 machines. And then they found in this clean area that they were getting printhead extension life of about 30%. So imagine for a company that's replacing their printheads about every 2 months, they're doing a lot of printing. And a printhead costs between $500 and $800 to most people. It's a huge saving. It's in the tens of thousands over the year. So that's something that management out there should consider, placing thermal transfer ribbon machines, printing machines in the cleanest area possible.
Yes, I know this customer, and yes, they now save a lot of money, which is very important, right? And I think also what they improved on it, which helped them to save this money, is that they started cleaning their printers better, which leads us to the next issue. It's very, very important to keep your printers clean. Dust on the printer will reduce the printing quality, and also it will reduce lifespan of many important parts like printheads. And then you can see here on the video how Maria from our development center cleans her printheads. So it can give you some idea. So she takes soft microfiber material, she applies 70% ethanol alcohol on it, and she carefully cleans the printheads. We have many questions on how often should you clean your printhead, and the answer really depends, because it depends on your printer, it depends on how often you print, it depends on what kind of TTR you're using as well, and what kind of substrates. But we'll definitely recommend to clean it at least once a day, and it's best to do it at the beginning of each production shift. And here you can also see, while Maria is still cleaning, because she cleaned it in very thoroughly, a lot of detail, which is the right way.
Maria.
And also each printer comes with the cleaning manual, so-called. And you can see this table, for example, is from our Zebra printer. So definitely for your printer model, whatever model you have, you're going to have something similar. You can either find it in your machine manual, or you can find it online. It's easily available.
And I think moving on from cleaning schedules is maintenance schedules. And that really brings us to the next point. And the issue is, for quite a few clients, is the lack of maintenance or poor maintenance, okay? Look, a TTR machine is a fine piece of engineering, okay? You can pick them up now for a very good value, starting around a couple of $1,000s. Maybe some of you are spending up to 15, 20,000 for certain machines, specific machines, double-sided machines. But these need to be treated and maintained just like you would with an expensive piece of equipment like a car or a motorbike or machinery in your factory. Okay, it's no different. And the better that you maintain it, the longer it's going to last, and the better the print quality is going to be. Okay, so the solution to this is firstly making sure that your operatives, okay, have read the manuals and know how to maintain the machine, especially also calibrated parts if they need calibrating or indeed changing, okay, because they show wear. All right, make sure that maybe the supervisor is properly trained to be able to tell his operators. And the simple thing is, make a printout of the maintenance schedule, give it to either the supervisor or indeed put it in part of the machine, in the cover, affix it there with people's responsibilities, and they will then know what they need to do regularly. And at the end of the day, this is going to lead to you having much better print results.
And I would like to explain the next issue, also related to maintenance, is that the worn out or damaged parts are not replaced on time. For example, worn out printhead will not generate enough heat, and it will reduce printing quality. And damaged parts would also affect the printing quality. For example, you can see the label on our presentation. And here you can see that there's a line there. The line happened because our print head is scratched. So the scratch on the print head will create a scratch on everything that you print. And of course, then the quality like this is not acceptable to you. So you're going to waste the material and you need to replace the print head in this case.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's right. That's probably one of the most common problems we've seen is a white line, which is, I think we talk about creases later in the presentation, but you know, one of the great reasons for a white line there is dust or at worst it's scratch. And a print heads being that expensive, it's frustrating to management that they weren't properly cleaned.
You're right. And here you can see also the diagram with all the main parts of the TTR printer. And when you do preventive maintenance, and your operator should do preventive maintenance from time to time, they should always check the sensors, the rollers, the print heads to make sure they are in excellent condition and that do not need to be replaced or they're not worn out. So make sure it's followed up often, and if some parts need to be replaced, please replace them.
That's great, thanks, Vlad. Okay, so let's move it on to operational issues, and there's two main operational things that are the most important, and that is you'll all be familiar with darkness. We often call it darkness settings or energy settings, and speed that you're operating. And these are the two main factors that will affect print quality depending on the machine you've got. Obviously, from a management point of view, you're often looking for the fastest speeds, the fastest throughputs, but you know, we have to appreciate the faster that we try to do it, sometimes this will have a detrimental effect on quality. From a new green point of view and from an energy consumption point of view, operators are trying to run at lower energy settings, but obviously sometimes when we're doing lower darkness, we're not getting the blackness that we would like on the print. So, you know, 60–70% of this is the science, and with your supervisory people, there's a little bit of art involved here in getting the balance right. Okay, so when we get it badly wrong, for example, with energy settings, and we're going to show a video here, if we set the energy setting too high, for example, it's actually going to deteriorate the TTR, which at an extreme can cause breakage. And we do hear from clients having breakages, and quite often this is because actually we've deformed it, as you can see here. We've deformed the TTR, and at a certain point, if that continues, it can break. Okay, and now if we show the next video where we've got the right balance of speed and darkness, you can see we have a tick there, so we probably know what the result's going to be. We get a perfect print. Okay, so this is the solution is quite simple, and some clients haven't thought of it, and some clients do it quite well. But normally you guys are bigger printers, you're working on bigger projects, either in a manufacturing environment where you're doing the same products all the time, or if you're an international printer working for maybe the brands in the fashion industry, the garment industry, then you're doing long runs, and you should set up one machine with one type of TTR at one speed, one darkness setting, and just have it running like that. Put a sticker on the inside here, you can see in red, okay, so that any new operator coming to that machine will know exactly what to do, and you're going to get a much more consistent output. Simple solution, but it works.
Yes, next slide, please. And I would like to talk about a very simple issue, but it happens very often, so we also have to cover it. So when the ink roll or label roll installed incorrectly or misaligned, as you can see, there are two pictures here. Of course, one is incorrect and one was, I think, is correct. As you can see, the difference is that on the incorrect one, the ink roll, the TTR roll, is not installed correctly and it's not in line with the substrate. So it's actually crumpled. So when you're gonna print in such a setup, it will cause a crease and this crease will cause a white line similar to what we saw with the damaged spring head. So of course it will lead you to waste of time, materials, and etc. So the solution is very simple, as you can see with the picture with the tick. You just make sure that everything is carefully installed. So the ink roll and label roll are carefully installed and they're in line with each other. Then you wouldn't have any problem. Then I would like to go through the next issue. Kai, next slide, please. And that's when the pressure settings are incorrectly applied. And we have a video for you. And so let's find out what happens. So in this video, Maria from our development center, we didn't see her for a while, adjusted the pressure adjusters and they have been left in a wrong position on purpose. So let's see what kind of print we're going to get right now. Let's see what happens. All right, I can see some print, but as you can see on one side, the print is excellent, but on the other side, there's no print. And that happened because only one side has the pressure and another side has no pressure at all. So that's why there's no print. So now Maria is adjusting the pressure. So she is now making it correctly. So it's evenly distributed throughout the substrate. So let's see now if the result will change. Very excited. We don't know the outcome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Come on, Maria. Yes, the quality is excellent. So as you can see, pressure is very important and make sure you always apply the correct pressure.
Yeah, even though you have a pressure bar, it's still important to evenly distribute that pressure across the bar. Okay, so thanks, Vlad. Let's move to the actual TTR product, and let's just have a few words on that. A very simple one, but something that's overlooked sometimes is the size of the TTR. Okay, now we have a lot of clients saying, well, what size should I order? In general, okay, what we're trying to do is protect the print head from getting damaged. We've talked about this a lot in this webinar because it's expensive for you, okay? And the best way of doing that is that we make sure that the TTR is larger, wider than the substrate, particularly with substrates that are harsh or coarse. And, you know, we have materials like polyester satin that at a micro level are quite tough, okay, if you're gonna get into contact with it. So very simply, the solution is, okay, order your TTR no less than 5 millimeters wider than the substrate. And this will protect the print head from coming into contact with the substrate. Okay, now you met Julia earlier, and she runs a series called Professor Julia. She's done an actual series on this, an actual one, and I suggest that you go to YouTube and have a look at that, and that's fully explained.
The next issue I would like to explain is also very, very common, and that is the wrong ink orientation. Depending on the printer it's intended for, the ink on thermal transfer ribbon can be coated on different sides of the ribbon. So what we call ink side in and ink side out. And I think if you ever printed with a TTR printer, you also had this issue. So now what we're gonna show you are two videos. Of course, first one is what happens when the wrong side of ink is applied. By the way, if you know the answer, if it ever happened to you, please write in the answer in the chat box before we show it.
No prizes, just honor.
Well, you can be first, right? It's important.
It is.
So now she's setting it up. See, Maria is very accurate, so she does everything, set up the substrate, the TTR very accurately.
Well done, Maria. You're very welcome to write to Maria if you have technical issues, maria.tram@acettr.com. She'd be happy to hear from you.
Wait, where is the print? There's no print at all.
Oh my.
So actually, that's what would always happen, simply because the TTR ink doesn't face the substrate in this case. They are opposite sides. So that's why there will be no print at all. So now let's move to the correct video. So now we put the correct side of the ink to the right side of the substrate. So let's see if there will be any change. Also, if you know the answer of what's going to happen, please write it down in the chat box. Again, no prizes, the thing, right?
Again, no prizes at all. We run a tight ship here.
But you can be still the first one.
And what's going to happen?
And let's see. Very excited now.
We should run a game show.
Yeah. Let's see, it's about to come. Yeah. Excellent quality, right? So it's very important that the ink side is correct. So make sure you always pay attention to that.
That's great, thank you. And let's move on to probably, the most obvious, one of the biggest areas, but you've got to make sure that your printer, your TTR, okay, your application and your substrate are properly matched. Across those four things, that's quite a lot of permutations, which is why a lot of clients get it wrong. But this is where you as a client, you need to be very systematic when you're dealing with your TTR supplier, or indeed your printer manufacturer, okay? When you're buying your new printer, okay? And we can help on that. But the proper combination of these is essential for you to get the right print quality. Here's an example on the picture of very simply when a flathead TTR type has been used with a near edge printer. Common mistake, vice versa. This happens and clients are left wondering what's going on. Is it a problem with my printer? Have I got bad TTR supply? It's actually a very simple reason, but can confuse a lot of people. And this can happen for all sorts of reasons. If you use the wrong TTR on the wrong substrate, you're going to get a similar effect. Okay, so be systematic. Okay, go through what you're trying to achieve. When we're interfacing with you, we're going to ask you these questions because we need it in order to give you the right solution. And we offer a service here called Select TTR by ACE. Okay, and Vladimir will run through with you how that operates. It's free of charge. Okay, it's something that clients around the world use, and let Vladimir tell you how that works.
Sure, Carl. Select TTR by ACE is a service for professional companies looking to match the best ACE TTR, ACE thermal transfer ribbons, with their variable data printing projects. And to find the right combination of the substrates, the printer, and the TTR, we do the following. ACE arrange the collection of the substrates. So we just need 5 meters of any substrate to print TTR with. So let's say hand tags, stickers, RFID, care labels, shoe labels, or any substrate really. And then we collect it with our forwarder from wherever you are in the world. And then we bring it to our ACE testing and development center. And then Maria and our other colleagues would test a lot of different TTR that we have to find the best products for each application that you have. Then we provide you the detailed reports and proposals. And we offer, after you review the proposals, the reports, you check everything, the pictures, the terms, then we offer you the free samples as well, so you can test our recommended TTR at your production setting. We have sample centers in Bangladesh, Canada, UK, Portugal, China, and Vietnam, and we aim maximum 72 hours turnaround for this whole testing process and then coming back to you. And we do this for customers from all over the world, really, in all different parts of the world right now.
I think that's a really important point to make. For example, in Bangladesh, we have a lot of customers. When they have new requirements, the time to get the sample to the client in the end is same day, okay, if we understand the requirements. So please bear that in mind, and we can serve you better. I think we can move on to Q&A. I think that brings to an end our agenda, and I'd like to ask Kai if he could maybe see if there's any questions. Or is it Kai, or is it Emma's joined us. Emma's one of our key account managers. Many of you will be working with Emma.
Hello everyone.
Hi, Emma.
Yeah, thanks Phil and Flat for informative webinar. And now we have questions from Marita. Yes, we have Jira printer. Do we have to use Jira TTR or we can use other TTR brand?
I can handle it. Hello, Marida. Long time no see. And the answer would be that all ACE TTR can be used on all TTR printers in general. So as you can see, we have here Novex next to Phil. We have here's our Zebra printer, and TTR, our ACE TTR is suitable for all major printer models. So you can use it on any printer really. And we will match with Select TTR the right product for your printer, for the printer that you have.
Okay, thanks, Vlad. And next question is from Helen. She asked, do you sell TTR in different colors?
Yeah, Helen, thanks for that question. Quite easy to answer, I hope. Actually, quite a topical question because we're noticing the demand for color TTR as brands try to match their print quality with the way that they look in the market. So, I mean, currently, actually, I think, Emma, you're working on some projects with blues and grays and always white. So let me explain. There's 4 different levels of colors that we do from a basic sticker type level. Okay, where I think we have maybe 6 or 7 basic colors, a couple of blues, a couple of reds, white, gray, green, and yeah, you know, and that. Then we have the same type of colors, different variations, but same type of colors at a synthetic level. We get much more synthetic type labels, so they need a higher resin type TTR. And then we have a range of colors for PFL, printable fabric labels, care wash labels that need to be washable, enzyme wash, sometimes stone wash. And those we do in a range of blues, reds, and very common white. So that's white on a black PS. We offer a bespoke, customized color matching service subject to a minimum order quantity of between 800 and 1800 rolls. So please talk to your local representative about that service. So the answer, Helen, is yes, we do a range of colors and we can help you a lot with that. So is there anything else, Kai? Any other questions that have come in?
That's all the questions, Phil.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Marida and Helen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. It was nice to have you today. I hope you enjoyed our session.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you, Vlad, for joining me. That's been great. We welcome you to future ACE webinars. I think the next one will be in August, and we will notify you of what the subject matter is. Please check out Professor Julia and her technical series. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll find a whole lot of information about ACE TTR. So with that, thank you, team. And we look forward, clients, to working with you. Okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
We'll stay in touch.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.